Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Railroads Online. Today we'll be taking a look at the latest, the greatest, and the biggest update. As you can see, it is not winter anymore. It's nice and bright, sunny. The flowers are growing. It is springtime. Ignore that. And we've gotten a big ol' update with Railroads Online. It's been a while since we gotten a big update too. We got some sweet new stuff. I believe a Black Hills model right here, Baldwin 280 tank locomotive, as well as a Mason bogey, something I've wanted to see for a very long time in train simulators. I know there was one done for trains a long time ago, and model never seen love since. The Masons are very unique, wild design. We got an East Tennessee 280 back here. So we oogie boogie back here a little bit. And a coal burning Cook Mogul. Some fun stuff. Very fun stuff. Some fun new colors. And, of course, one of the cooler parts, coal. So, coal operations, that's the big theme of this update, coal power. Going from wood to coal. Which is pretty neat. I've played around a little bit with it. So, of course, with the coal, we'll get new facilities. A coaling tower, which is different. So the coaling tower, to get into coal-powered locomotives, you are going to have built your line all the way up to the coal mine. So all the way up to here. And you are going to have to be able to service the coal mine, because you're going to have to be able to refuel the locomotives. So I have a coal tower, which will connect, or has a connection point, so that you can drop coal off over the coal tower, and then, high-speed ladder climbing capabilities. You can go all the way to the top. I don't know why. It's not really anything you can do up here, but you can, for giggles and squiggles. The ladder climbing speed is insane, because you got to jump off right here. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could drop your hatch like that, but realistically speaking, you're supposed to be able to go up right about to here. But yeah, we go up and down the ladder at Mach 5, so. But a real neat coaling tower, and then set this to facilities so we can get rid of that. It does have some entertaining ambient noises. We got two new water towers, which is pretty neat. We got this right here, a nice little covered glorified barrel with this little swing out right here. And then to use it, you gotta go up the ladder again at Mach 20. And here's your little lever. You gotta open this valve right here to let water in, instead of just pulling it down like the old one. So that's neat. You also get it in colors, different color options, red, brown, beige, and old. As I listen to the wind blow some giant raindrops into my window. And then we get this water tower. It's a little bit of a more open style. Kind of a box. This one just kind of like the other one. You'll just drop it down, and it'll start filling just like the old one. Just kind of a different look that you can use. It also comes in different colors. You can also go up the ladder again at Mach 20. So hop up the ladder, hop back down, and this one you get in red, brown, beige, and old as well. Over here, we also got a new engine shed, a nice open, more like a shed, a drive-through shed almost, that you get red, brown, beige, and old as well. For giggles and squiggles, we'll go with beige this time. So it's just a long open shed. I'm sure some of you that come up with some wild building will find some fun stuff to do with that. So that's what's new for our facilities and buildings and such. And then we got a new track. This is sweet. This is a stub switch, a 3-way stub switch. So what a stub switch does, I had to run down here so that I can get to a regular switch. I guess I could have done it back there. Oh well, we're up here now. Bingo, boingo. So a regular switch has a set of rails, a split in the rails, and it's got this little moving piece right in here, which will move what direction you go. A stub switch, however, let's rotate this around. My numbers aren't working, so we'll look at that in a minute. Boink. Stub switch, 3-way stub switch, but a stub switch just in general moves the entire rail. So the entire, like, this whole section of rail will move. Which is kind of cool. The model itself is a little off. Obviously, your plates here to keep the rail from physically moving are a little, well, they're not doing much good there, are they? And I don't care who you are, you ain't manhandling this steel all that easily. Realistically speaking, it would just kind of, yeah, it kind of curves for the most part realistically. So these little ends here you would essentially just be dragging it through the dirt. It's almost like grabbing this rail and just dragging it, instead of having a little point like this over here. So this is cool. Really good for yard work, for those of you that want to do some wild yards and such. Oh. There we go. Oh. So got that. I believe that's all we got as far as rail goes. And then of course the rolling stock locomotives, which we'll jump back here now. Bingo boingo. So I believe this is a Black Hills Central prototype, if I read correctly. So Baldwin built 280 with an outside frame, which is kind of nice. So I see some Rio Grande C21 in the future. But coal operations. To do the coal, open up your firebox here and just click on the coal pile. Grab a load of coal and you right click into the firebox and it'll toss it in there. The hitboxes are a little wonky, which can be a little frustrating, so getting it just right can be very irritating a little bit right now. Hopefully that gets polished up a little bit, but it's not bad. Like right now, for this, I kind of gotta like crouch down to be able to really toss it in and out. But of course, things to fiddle with. So you know, you can open your doors. No windows. No roof hatch. No window. Can open that window. Can't open those. Can open those. And of course this one's a an oil burning headlight, so this has got one of the wonkiest sets of couplers. And when you connect another locomotive up to it like this, it's different. Very different. Don't know why it does that, but it does. And again, you're probably not meant to have plow to plow, but those of you that want to make a joke and old enough, have at it, but keep it child friendly somewhat, please. Huh? Very neat looking locomotive. Very neat. Very unusual, but very cool, to say the least. So they got some new whistles too. That's cool. That's a nice one. This one does have a compressor, so does have air brakes, which are nice. Very nice. I do kind of get a kick out of it. We haven't gotten air hoses yet for the brakes. I'm not nitpicking. I just I get a kick out of it. But we got our little spigots over here. But oh yeah, love the whistle. It's got an awesome sounding whistle. So nice. So nice. Makes things a little bit more unique to have some different whistles, different sounds, instead of everything sounding identical. So chuff sounds, nothing really special there. Those are still pretty much the same. Bell, still pretty much the same. So yeah, there's that. Sweet. Let's run back here. This is my favorite, personally. I absolutely love this thing. So, historically speaking, this thing is articulated. So, the the front half of the locomotive here, this frame here, is not connected to the boiler, per se. The idea was to make a relatively long, relatively universal locomotive that could take the tighter corners of something like that little porter over there. In practice, these locomotives are really, really complicated, and so it didn't really take off with most roads. The Mason bogey, it's kind of like what one would call a complicated Forney, or technically speaking, it's a modification of a Farley type, which is European. But yeah, this little front section here, as you go around a corner, just like on a big boy or something, the boiler will swing out as it goes around a corner. It's really, really neat idea that was really kind of ahead of its time. And so these just didn't really take off, but there is one surviving. Henry Ford, yeah, the guy that made the Ford Model T, the famous Ford guy. Henry Ford was obsessed with Mason locomotives. And managed to get hold of one, and so one single example of a Mason bogey survives, and it is kept operational, restored for operation, or I believe now it's under its federal whatever bullshit. But yeah, such a unique design. It's so cool to see it added into a train simulator. Again, nothing real fancy with the chuff sounds. Let's see, I got a curve up. Yeah, I got a curve up here. I'm gonna whistle. Oh yeah, love that. So you can kind of see it. Not too wild, but bottom half will articulate out. That's neat. That is so neat to see. And it's our first locomotive that's got Walschaerts valve gear, which is really nice. It's satisfying to watch. It's a very satisfying locomotive. Very unique. Nice sounding whistle. We'll go through all the options and whatnot in a second for all these locomotives. We're just going to take a peek at them first, since I've already got them down at what are we stuck on? Bingo, boingo. And then an East Tennessee 280. I'm sure this one right here is going to make everybody's day more than anything. This is now, I believe, the longest locomotive in the game. Look at that big old chonky boiler. And look what's to come. Knuckle couplers. Now, it still works with link and pin. That's what the hole in the front here is for. But means we got knuckle couplers on the way sometime relatively soon. So that'll be nice. For now, they're just cosmetic, but once again, we got our brake pipes here, but nothing to go to. Hop up in here. Now, I would argue this has probably the prettiest whistle in game now. Oh yeah, easily the prettiest whistle in game. And this one, this does something wonky too, which is cool to see. I'll show you guys in a minute, but you get the option of oil or electric headlights. So if you stick with oil headlights, it'll take the generator away. And of course, you got a compressor for our brakes here. So that's neat to see, and it does sound pretty good. Chuff sounds, again, nothing fancy. The initial chuff sounds are actually pretty nice, but after it starts to get up to speed and it takes over with the high-speed rolling chuffs, it's the typical sound for everything else. So, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely the best sounding whistle in game now, without a doubt. All sorts of bells and whistles. Of course, all these locomotives, as are typical for railroads online, they got animated valve gear and whatnot. Now, unfortunately, seeing it is a little bit of a... There we go. So you can kind of see it. It's not the easiest. It's kind of wonky though. The valve gear on this model is way back here. Way back here. It's kind of odd. Kind of different. Kind of cool. course, it's a great looking locomotive. Can't read the builder plate, which is a bit of a disappointment there. But I'm sure this is the one that everybody's going to be fiddling with for a while now. Personally, I'll be sticking to this Mason. I love this thing. This thing is too freaking cool. This one does have a decent builder's plaque. Kinda. It's like half. Half of it looks decent, the bottom half not so much. That one doesn't look half bad. Of course, the last locomotive of the lot. We'll slowly make our way back here. Slowly but steadily. And some of these locomotives got some interesting colors that have been added in. Boy! And of course, open it up. Grab a chunk of coal here. Toss it in. Close it. Now, I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed on this one, because outside of the fact that it's coal burning instead of wood burning, like the Cook Mogul that's been in the game for a while, there's nothing else different. It's still more or less the same locomotive, which, I don't know, I kind of found that surprising. So, like, we'll look at it in a minute, but, like, the smokestack options doesn't have, like, it doesn't have the spark arrestor, which is kind of odd, considering these coal burners definitely got made modified later on when they got converted to coal burning. The Colorado Southern ended up with these locomotives, and they would have ended up with a spark arrestor for coal sparks and air tanks and such up on top. So it's kind of, I don't know, I'm a little bit disappointed in this one, but sound wise are exactly the same as the other one. So and it's neat for those of you that enjoy. Oh, well, don't guess we needed a tender, but it's neat for those of you that want it, I guess. But I don't quite see the point to this one being a separate locomotive when there's nothing to really set it apart. So that's just me. It's got some cool color schemes though, compared to the original, the wood burner over there. It's got some pretty neat color schemes that you get to fiddle with, but other than that, it just, I don't know. It's not enough different to make me go, oh my goodness. But we get that thing, and we got new cars too, new freight. So we got a new skeleton log car here. Pretty short model, but still neat. Of course, and all sorts of paint schemes, including green. So that's pretty neat. And then let's see, what do we get? What do we got? Got a new hopper, an East Broadtop hopper. This thing's pretty cool. And of course, again, get a handful of color schemes. I guess I should point out the differences. So, skeleton log car, this is going to be for logs only. With its weight's a little bit lighter, 6,600 pounds, versus the regular flat car that you would use for like logs right here, which is a good deal heavier. So that's your benefit to using log cars over the flat cars. Is log cars are going to be lighter. You can drag more log cars with more logs, a longer train behind smaller locomotives. And then compared to, here's our original hopper, came with the game, 13.2 versus the East Broadtop hopper, which is still 13.2. So yeah, there's no real benefit, price change. So the original hopper is a little more expensive than the East Broadtop hopper, which I find kind of odd, not gonna lie. And maybe, I don't know, I haven't actually fiddled with the coal mine all that much, so, but judging by the longer or the taller sides, I think maybe the original hopper will carry more. But yeah, new hopper, new tank car, this big old boat of a this is kind of, it's a glorified flat car is what it is, with a pretty decently large tank strapped to it, which, I mean, this thing isn't much better. But so this one's 30,135 versus 31,000, but this is definitely a bigger tank. So heavier tank car, but bigger tank. Kind of neat. And then again, various colors. Really just the frame. The actual tank doesn't change. Box car. We got a stock car. So hopefully this is kind of a what's to come. We get to fiddle with some livestock, cattle or something, but for now it's just crate tools. So more or less a box car. But not too vastly different from the regular box car. But hey, something different. Again, different colors. Bright red, wow. Green. Ooh. Go blind on the yellow. Banana. And bobbers, way cars, or plow. Right off the bat, tier 2, the Mason bogey. Hopefully later on we could see the 8-drivered Mason too. That would be stinking awesome. But the first of our new locomotives, the Mason bogey, is a tier 2. Tractive effort, 8,470 foot-pounds, which isn't too bad. It's pretty stout, especially compared to our porters here. Let's see what else we got. It really tier 2. We got a Eureka, 5,000 pounds. Glenbrook, 7.6. So yeah, it's a pretty gutsy locomotive for what it is. It's gonna be slower, these smaller drivers, but it'll drag a pretty hefty load for its size. Smokestacks, I get a ton of options for smokestacks. This, I think these smokestack options, a lot of them should have gone on that coal burning cook. Not gonna lie, but yeah, just a plain old shotgun and a crown, cap stack, spark arrestor, little balloon. I believe this is what they were originally built as for the Denver South Park. And a full-blown balloon for like a wood burner. Different style of balloon, Congdon, whatever. The UP Congdons here. Another balloon. See, this should have gone on the Cook Mogul all day. It's kind of cool too. It's got the little sparks fall down on the rocks here. These essentially catch any unburned coal ashes and whatnot that would come up out of the stack. These cages up on top here, this mesh to catch it and redirect it down to the ground, which most of these balloons and whatnot do the same thing. So like this balloon here, you can kind of see it's got the mesh up here, but yeah, each one's a little bit different. The idea is a little bit different behind each one, but all sorts of different stacks. And headlights, which are, I believe, most of the same headlight options you get with everything, plus antlers. So you get all your headlight options, and then you get all those headlight options, but with antlers. Now, what is holding these antlers on up here, I don't know. somebody with some real good super glue glued them on up there, but it's kind of a neat one. Neat thing to see. And of course, paint jobs. So this one's got more of the scrolling artwork. This one's more lines. Get it kind of green here. And the green's pretty slick, I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty slick looking locomotive. All blacked out. And the blue. Now this blue's kind of cool. That's why I opted to buy it right off the bat. I like this blue. It's unique, different, odd. But so that's our Mason bogey, built 1878. Next on the list of new locomotives, a Tier 5 Ruby Basin, built by the Baldwin Locomotive Works. A 1022 E5 280T. So a Tier 5, got a 13.5 for your tractive effort there. It's pretty stout. Again, coal burner. This green kind of reminds me of Baldwin's World War colors when Baldwin was producing locomotives for the military to go overseas. It's kind of that same color green that they use. It's kind of entertaining. Smokestack options. We got our kind of we got our plain Jane shotgun style. We got a crown. Crown is probably the best looking in my opinion with this locomotive. We got a taller shotgun. Helps with clearance, kind of forces the smoke to go up a little bit higher instead of down into everybody's face right here if it's windy or something. But you got a taller one, got kind of a top balloon, big balloon, and that's it. Of course, all our all of our headlight options, and it does change for both ends. So it does have headlight on both ends. So that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. And of course our paint options. So we got black, plain Jane black. Green, hi, welcome to Europe. For my European friends out there. This is something a little more up you guys' street right here. Bright green. Or bright red. Nah, I kind of like that red. That red looks pretty slick. The green, I think, is a little bit too British for me. I'm poking fun. I don't have anything against the Brits. I don't know. That green doesn't really stick to me. This red looks pretty slick. The black, just kind of overall black versus this other black, which has got a lot of white outlines, which is honestly looks pretty clean. And that's it. There's Ruby Basin. And of course our wood burning cook. So as you can see, there are some notable differences. Tractive effort is identical. Boiler pressure is identical. Weight, all that fun stuff is literally identical. The only difference is your fuel source. But cosmetically, obviously our wood burners got kind of the snow plow up on the front versus the coal burner doesn't. And then they both have an air pump. Yeah, they both got an air pump. I think the air pump changes our footboard. The footboard here is lower and the air pump sits a little bit different. Still have an air pump. And then of course not much else really. I don't know, maybe the boiler looks a little different now that I see them side by side. Yeah, the boiler looks different. I don't know, maybe they are separate locomotives. Maybe it's just the fact that they use the exact same sounds that kind of throw me off. Same tender. Yeah, I don't know. Cab's a little different. Yeah, cosmetically the Locomotive is a little bit different. It's just the same sounds. So, stand corrected. It's not quite the same. But option-wise, I'm still kind of, I don't know. In my opinion, there's no real reason to buy one over the other if you've got one. But smokestacks, that's your options. There we go. Shotgun style, straight, crown, short balloon, real tall balloon, big balloon. So that spark arrestor that we saw in the Mason, that's something that should have gone with this Locomotive, in my opinion. And of course our headlight options. Headlight. There's our headlights. I don't think this one gets a headlight on the back. Nope, it don't. And then paint. So this is real slick looking. I love the stained wood look. You know, it's not too fancy, but it's just enough that it's not just plain old black. So that's pretty slick. And we got solid black. It's got nothing. Maybe later on when we get reskin capabilities for the game, this would be a real good reskin template. And they get black with just the stained wood. And then blue. This is wild. Again, I kind of like it. I'm not really sold on the blue smokestack, but other than that, I kind of like the blue. Not gonna lie, this is kind of cool. And then Merry Christmas, red and green. I feel like this should have got some more gold trim scroll work, but yeah. Kind of a Christmas scheme. It's kind of cool. Different. So there's our cook mold. And then our 280s. So 280s, we got that. Where is it? There it is. Tier 6. All the way down at the end. What's bigger? Class 70 or the East Tennessee? They might be round about the same size. If one counts the very tip of the plow here, they might be round about the same length. Big old hefty Locomotive. And a powerhouse compared to the other three. 16,000. Good looking Locomotive. Good looking. So kind of entertaining that the smoke box is so long with the smokestack way back here in the back. It's very different if we look at everything else where a smokestack kind of sits at the very front of the smoke box. This thing looks just kind of weird, but not bad. So of course our stacks, we got our straight old shotgun style, and then we got that. I got the cabbage patch and a crown stack. It's a cabbage patch. Bachmann used to do an ON30 model with an ON30 280. I believe it had Walshart's valve gear, but other than that, you used to be able to get it with this cabbage stack, which this looks really familiar to it. I think it's ugly as can be, but it's got a function. It's not for looks, but if we're going for looks, that crown there looks pretty good. Of course, our headlight options, we got oil burning, and then bam, we get into electric. When we get into electric, it adds in a little steam generator there. It's just really neat option. And of course, since since it's electric and adds in a steam generator, I have to add electric lines. Now, the electric line is inside the handrail here, which is kind of interesting. But they did add the lines to it, so that's neat. These are headlights. And of course, our paint options. So first, we got that kind of old olive drab from Baldwin. That's kind of neat here. So you get a black boiler versus here we got more of the Russian iron style. So it's still the same kind of green olive drab, but black roof, black boiler jacket. It's pretty slick looking. All blacked out. It's probably one of the best looking locomotives all blacked out in game right now. Not very many paint options. This one's got not too much to it. And that's it. That's what we got, fellers. Let's order one of these here so we can see it up close. I'll order one of these here. Move you out of the way. Move you out of the way. Come on. Drop it down. There we go. And we got one more. Bam. So we can get up close to them. Kind of see what we're fiddling with here. Of course. Oh, that's cool. It's got the little latch motion. It opens up. Now your head's right up in the ceiling. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Still got the Lincoln pin covers. Let's see if it'll let me climb up the... Woo! We still climb at Mach 5. Brakes. Bingo boingo. Right on over here. Not much we can fiddle with the hopper. Got our brakes, of course. Still pretty good looking. Pretty good. You can kind of see the cranks there. Pretty good. Of course, our skeleton flat. Little shorty here. It's cool. You can see the spring for the couplers. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. It's long. This thing's just long. It's kind of wild. Kind of looks wonky. Squat. Like those old Southern Pacific whaleback tenders. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. It's got a nice oil slick shine all over it. Especially where you'd feel it, as if you spilled some oil over it. That's neat. Very neat. Very neat indeed. I don't know what is on the, what this is. This doesn't look like it's plain wood. That looks like some extra, like vinyl or something. And then again, we got our hoses for like brakes. So I think pretty soon we'll be seeing some air brakes. You'll actually have to hook up your brakes, kind of oh, what is it? Derail Valley style. So that would be kind of cool. Maybe. we get to see later on. We even got the brake rigging under here, so hopefully we get to see that sometime soon. I think this one of, the cattle car has it. The East Broad Top car. East Broad Top car does not. You are the brakes. How about you? Nope. You don't have it, do you? So right now, really and truly, we ain't got a whole lot with air brakes, but starting to see these little additions here. So that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And that's about it, fellas. Sure is cool. Sure is neat. I enjoy it. I like it. It's nice to see big updates like this now and then. This game still seems to be running pretty smooth. I know they addressed a nice list of bugs as well. I'm not going to go through the list of bugs, though. We're just here to look at the content. But they do have a bug list as well with the update, as well as some fixes and improvements, some other updates. It's not just content, so that's nice to see. It's always enjoyable to see when a dev will push out actual fixes along with their major updates rather than just content. So that's about it, fellers. The latest and greatest for Railroads Online. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys go check it out if you ain't already got it. It's pretty neat. They get updates every couple months. They're usually pretty big like this, where pretty fair bit of content gets added in. So go check it out. I hope you enjoy it. I will see you guys next time.